Hello, everyone. We have some amazing news to share. In a noteworthy advancement, Congress has approved a significant increase in the annual cost of living for beneficiaries of many federal benefit programs, such as Veterans Affairs via benefits, Social Security Disability Insurance, SDI, and Supplemental Security Income, SSS. The increase is $2,600. This action acknowledges the serious effects that inflation has had on people living on fixed incomes and is the highest cost of living adjustment rise in more than 40 years. Greetings and welcome to your go-to resource for the most recent information on Social Security and fourth stimulus checks specifically designed for American seniors, including those on SSI, SSDI, and VIA. I hope everyone is doing well. Let's get started. While Social Security retirement benefits and other programs typically receive smaller annual adjustments intended to keep pace with inflation, the emergency $2,600 boost was deemed a critically necessary intervention to help beneficiaries across these programs keep up with an economy that has caused prices for essentials like food, housing, gasoline, and utilities to skyrocket over the past 2 years. This year's COLA hike marks a much more aggressive step aimed at making up for the rapidly diminishing ability to afford basic living costs. Who chairs the powerful Senate Finance Committee, which oversaw the COLA increased legislation, emphasized the urgency of the situation, stating the reality is that costs of daily living have spiraled out of control. But tens of millions of Social Security beneficiaries have been attempting to survive on what became effectively diminished fixed incomes without substantive relief. Until now, this $2,600 per year increase in benefits is a long overdue step to lift that immense burden and help seniors, the disabled, and poor families simply afford basic necessities again. In addition to the substantial annual increase, the legislation also includes a provision for retroactive back payments to cover the period before the COA adjustments formally kick in. According to estimates from the Social Security Administration, this will amount to the equivalent of around $1,800 per recipient in a single lump sum payment designed to offset the punishing elevated costs of living most had to absorb in 2023 before the historic raise provided any recourse. The significant scale of income being injected into beneficiary households through both the $2,600 annual raise and retroactive back payments should not be understated, while most public awareness has centered around Social Security retirement benefits. According to the Nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office, approximately 70 million Americans will see a direct increase in their income thanks to the significant COA adjustment. This includes approximately 49 million Social Security retirement recipients, 8 million people receiving SSDI, another 8 million receiving SL, which is intended for disabled Americans and low-income seniors, and approximately 4.5 million receiving Ssdi disability compensation or pension benefits. The increases equally apply to all major federal benefit programs aimed at supporting low-income Americans facing financial hardship or disability, that impact earning potential. According to thorough estimates from the Social Security Administration, it reflects a broad financial lifeline provided to all of the most vulnerable populations in the nation confronting the harsh realities of trying to get by on fixed incomes. Following the formal implementation of the increases, the average monthly benefit payments across the programs will rise to the following levels: $27 for retired workers, $1,623 for disabled workers, and $995 for SSI recipients, which includes many low-income seniors. While the increase in dollars may seem significant to many beneficiaries living on extremely low incomes, the monthly benefit payments for these beneficiaries will actually increase. Policy experts and advocacy groups contributed to the increase, but in the end is much less than what is required to actually keep up with the skyrocketing cost of living, which includes significant bills like rent, groceries, utilities, and healthcare that have been steadily rising over the past year. The legislative director of the ARC, a prominent nonprofit advocacy organization that advocates for Americans with disabilities, Lindsey Burns, acknowledged the importance of the increase but emphasized the need for more comprehensive reforms. Let me clarify that although we greatly value the significant increase from Congress of $2,600 per year, this is only the beginning of enabling beneficiaries to attain true financial security and stability. According to Byrne, a $217 monthly boost would benefit some people temporarily, but it won't go nearly as far as it should for a disabled person or family having to pay for outrageous and continuously rising housing and medical expenses. More comprehensive and systematic reforms will still need to be implemented in order to address energy bills, accessibility equipment, and other inevitable expenses. But for now, this payment increase offers some much-needed temporary respite due to its monumental scope and size of increasing payouts across a wide range of recipient groups. As per the agency's declared time frame and deployment plans, the Social Security Administration has the immense responsibility of executing the task of issuing all those larger checks. Early in July, recipients' bank accounts should start receiving the updated benefit amounts reflecting the full $2,600 annual cost of living adjustment. More importantly, the increase will be automatically provided to current beneficiaries, meaning there won't be any additional paperwork or bureaucratic obstacles beyond the standard eligibility requirements for each program. The highly anticipated lump sum retroactive back payments intended to offset elevated costs during the first half of 2023 before the COA boost went into effect are reflected in the CULA increase, which the SSA has outlined in a staggered schedule for exactly when different beneficiary groups can expect to start receiving their first payments. The Social Security Administration has announced that in addition to the anticipated and eagerly anticipated payment increases for beneficiaries, the make-up lump sums, which average approximately $1,800 per recipient, will be distributed to all eligible beneficiaries in a second wave, starting in early August. Some recipients were understandably concerned about whether their additional income would be entirely or partially offset by cuts elsewhere. Many legitimately feared that their $2,600 raise might be fully or partially rescinded if their total combined incomes from other sources, such as employment pensions, investments, or spousal benefits, were reduced, rose above specific income or asset thresholds. But federal officials made it clear that neither the retroactive back payments covering the beginning of the year nor the $2,600 COA raise scheduled for 2023 payments would be reduced for any reason related to income or assets, offering much-needed peace of mind. Both the lump sum and the monthly increase are considered uncapped adjustments that won't be means-tested or reduced based on recipients' overall financial profile explained. As this monumental increase in benefits starts to reach the millions of Americans who rely on these essential programs, Senator Broaden, the forceful COA increase proponent. This increase is explicitly meant to provide blanket relief without punishing or reducing payouts for those relying on these essential fixed benefits as a primary income source regardless of their individual circumstances. It's critical to acknowledge the profound effects it will have on people, families, and communities. Many people across the country view this raise as a lifeline that can mean the difference between struggling to make ends meet and achieving some degree of stability and security. Take the example of Sarah, a 67-year-old widow living in a small Midwest town on a fixed Social Security income, rising prices for groceries, utilities, and healthcare. The Garcia family, whose two disabled parents rely on Ssdi benefits to support their 3 children, could benefit from an additional $217 per month to help with the added financial strain of providing accessible equipment therapy and special education for their youngest child. The Garcia family's monthly budget has been stretched to the breaking point in recent years, but the $2,600 annual increase combined with the retroactive lump sum could give her the breathing room she needs to afford necessary medications and repairs to her aging home without having to sacrifice other necessities like nutritious food or reliable transportation for soldiers like as retired Army Sergeant Michael, who suffered crippling injuries while serving in the military. The rise in capping could mean the difference between living paycheck to paycheck and having enough money for the specialized care and housing he needs to live independently and with dignity into his golden years. These are only a handful of the innumerable people and families whose lives will be improved by this historic cost of living adjustment, but the ripple effects go well beyond those who will directly benefit from them. Beneficiaries will undoubtedly experience a much-needed boost to local businesses and communities around the nation as they have more spare income to spend on products and services. The relief this increase provides could lessen the strain on social safety nets and community organizations that have been stretched thin trying to support those living in poverty or on the verge of financial ruin with more stability. Local businesses may see a boost in customers and revenue as economic relief reaches those struggling with inflation. This could reduce demand for emergency assistance, allowing organizations to focus on other critical areas. While implementing this policy change will be a massive undertaking, some recipients may experience delays or administrative issues. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more stimulus-related updates.